President Biden signed his landmark bipartisan infrastructure bill into law Monday afternoon. The $1.2 trillion measure aims to revitalize the nation's aging roads and bridges and includes investments in broadband access and clean drinking water. CBS News Chief White House correspondent Nancy Cordes reports.
Today, we're finally getting this done.
It was a bipartisan celebration at the White House this afternoon as President Biden touted the biggest infrastructure investment in generations.
I truly believe that 50 years from now, historians are going to look back at this moment and say, that's the moment America began to win the competition of the 21st century.
The law President Biden signed today deploys $550 billion in new federal spending to improve roads and bridges, rail and public transit, the power grid, broadband, water systems, and more. Just today, New York's governor announced the money will help stave off subway fare hikes. Kentucky's governor said it may enable the rebuilding of the pivotal Brent Spence Bridge without the need for tolls.
This is what can happen when Republicans and Democrats decide we're going to work together to get something done.
Tonight, the president holds a video conference with Chinese President Xi Jinping amid rising tensions between the two countries. Recent satellite images show mock U.S. warships set up in a Chinese desert, possibly built for target practice.
He's a smart guy.
The two presidents have known each other for years, but this is their first virtual face-to-face since Mr. Biden took office.
Oh, we're not old friends. It's just pure business.
How would you describe their relationship going into this meeting?
President Xi is somebody he's spent time with, he's had face-to-face conversations with, and because of that, the president feels that he's able to have candid discussions with President Xi.
And Nancy joins me now with more from the White House. Hi there, Nancy. So what are both the White House and China looking to get out of these talks? What's at stake here?
Well, the relationship has only gotten more and more strained every month that the president has been in office. You know, when he was running for president, Mr. Biden frequently liked to say that there was no world leader he had spent more time working with than President Xi of China. But since he has gotten into office, President Biden has not missed many opportunities to criticize the Chinese government more broadly, and Xi in particular, on a whole host of issues that they are likely to discuss tonight. Everything from China's military buildup to human rights offenses to Taiwan's independence to cyber attacks. One of the things I asked the White House press secretary about today, Elaine, was about whether President Biden was going to bring up this interesting test over the summer of a hypersonic missile that went around the world, which could have very troubling implications for U.S. and China and future military confrontations. You've had various experts calling it China's Sputnik moment or something that could spark an arms race between the two countries. She wouldn't say whether that particular incident is going to be on the agenda when they speak tonight, but she did promise that we get a full readout on what was discussed after the meeting is over.
So, Nancy, you touched on this a moment ago. So the last time these two leaders spoke was in September by telephone. But give us a little bit more context between President Biden and President Xi Jinping's relationship leading up to Monday's virtual meeting, because these two have known each other for a number of years.
They really have. You know, Vice President Biden, when he was vice president, was sort of dispatched by President Obama as an envoy of sorts to meet with Xi Jinping. They spoke on a number of occasions. In fact, at one point, Xi described President Biden as an old friend. Well, when Mr. Biden was asked about this over the summer, he said, he's not an old friend. I just know him very well. So making it clear that this is not a friendly relationship any longer. A lot of times the White House uses the word competition to describe its relationship with China, making it clear that they view this not so much as a confrontation, but certainly a competition on all kinds of fronts. And they have tried to set up some kind of face-to-face summit with President Xi in recent months. They thought it might happen during President Biden's recent trip to Italy for the G20 summit, but Xi Jinping has not left China because of COVID concerns, so that has made a face-to-face meeting impossible so far. So this video conference is the next best thing.
All right, it'll be a complicated dynamic, but really fascinating to watch. Nancy, let's talk a little about President Biden signing that $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill. This was one of the president's major campaign promises. What impact is the administration hoping this will have on the president's declining popularity and his party's ability to get things done?
Well, they're certainly hoping that it'll give his approval numbers a shot in the arm. They're happy to see that the bill itself gets plenty of approval from U.S. voters, and a little mystified about why that hasn't translated yet to his own approval numbers, which fell even further, according to new polls over the weekend. So the president is going to be out there campaigning. He's traveling to New Hampshire, he's traveling to Michigan to tout this bill. He is going to talk about everything that it is going to do for everyday Americans across the country, the jobs it could create, to try to make it clear that this would not have happened without this White House. And he's also hoping that this will give momentum to the other big item on his agenda, which is his Build Back Better bill, which is still awaiting a vote in the House and Senate.
All right, so on that, Nancy, House Democrats say they want to vote on the Build Back Better bill sometime this week, but some lawmakers say they want to see analysis from the Congressional Budget Office before voting. Right. So when should we expect a final cost estimate, and how could that impact some lawmakers' decisions?
Well, there's been some reporting that we might see a final estimate of the overall bill possibly by Friday. But that creates a really challenging situation for House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, as you can imagine, because you've got these lawmakers who want to wait until they see those cost numbers before they vote. And, you know, that's the responsible thing to do. On the other hand, those same lawmakers have also said that they are going to vote this week. And the House and the Senate are out for Thanksgiving next week. So if they don't do something this week, this is going to drag on through the holidays, and that can always spell trouble for legislation the longer that it hangs out there. So is there a possibility that the House Speaker could hold the House over perhaps Friday into Saturday in order to get this vote done? That's always possible. And of course, it also hinges on what those cost estimates show. If they show, for instance, that this bill costs more than it brings in revenue, then there may be some moderate lawmakers who balk and say, hey, wait a minute, we want to tweak this bill, we want to fix it before voting on it, and that could cause a delay as well.
So many variables, Nancy, in this political calculus. Another thing, it'll be fascinating to see how that plays out. All right, Nancy Cordes at the White House for us. Nancy, always great to have you. Thank you.
Good to be with you, Elaine.